You are 7 years old, and waking up is the worst part. Not because you are hungry, but because you are empty. Like someone scooped out everything inside you and left nothing behind. Your little sister turns in her sleep, making small sounds like a hurt animal. Your father sits in the corner, counting coins. He stares at them like he's hoping they will multiply. His lips move, but no sound comes out. He has been doing this since the moon rose. The pile is so small, it will never be enough. Outside, the village wakes up. You hear a rooster, a dog barking. People laugh, argue, start their day. Normal sounds. Sounds from another world. But inside this room, time is stuck. And even though you are still a child, you already feel tired of life. Then he says your name. But his voice is different tonight. It sounds like a man standing at the edge of a cliff, deciding whether to jump. There is a city, he whispers. His eyes are wet, but he doesn't cry. Too tired for tears. A place where boys don't starve. He tells you about walls so red they hurt your eyes. Roofs made of real gold. Silk clothes that feel like water on your skin. Rice bowls so full you can't finish them. Warm beds. Safe nights. For one stupid, beautiful second, you believe it. Your heart beats faster. Maybe things will be okay. Then he tells you what it costs. The words come slow. Each one hits you like a stone. They will take you to a room. Men will hold you down. They will cut something away. Something you need to be a man. Something you need to be a husband. Something you need to be a father. Something that makes you, you. When they are done, the boy standing here will be gone. Dead. But your body will keep walking. You don't say yes. You don't say no. You just stand there and feel your childhood walk away from you, and you know it's never coming back. Your sister sleeps through it all. She doesn't know. She will never know what you did for her. Morning comes too fast. The sky is stupidly blue. Like nothing happened. Like everything didn't change. You want to scream at the sky. Your mother packs you a small bag. Dried bread. 1 egg. She doesn't look at you either. Her hands shake. The walk to the city takes most of the day. The room they take you to smells wrong. Like medicine and old blood and something sweet trying to hide it. There are other boys waiting. Some are younger than you. Some are crying. Some are so still they look like dolls. The men's faces are empty. They've done this before. Too many times. One puts a wooden stick in your mouth. Bite, don't scream. Screaming is bad luck. Another covers your nose and mouth with a cloth that smells sharp and strange. The world gets fuzzy. The walls breathe in and out. Then comes the pain. Not like anything you've known. Not like falling down or getting hit. This is deeper. This is someone reaching inside you and taking a piece of your future. You bite the wood so hard it breaks. You taste blood and splinters. You hear yourself make a sound that doesn't sound human. Then everything goes black. When you wake up, the world feels far away. You are lying on a hard bed. Other boys lie around you. Some are too still, too quiet. The ones who didn't make it. People stand over you. Their mouths move, but the words take forever to arrive. You are lucky, they say. Many boys die in this room. Lucky. The word tastes strange in your head. You look at the still boys. Maybe they are the lucky ones. Maybe their pain stopped. Your father comes to see you. But he won't look at your face. He looks at the wall, at the floor. Anywhere but you. Like he's afraid you will ask him a question he cannot answer. Like, why? Like, was it worth it? He leaves a small piece of candy on your bed. The kind you liked as a child. Then he walks away. You never see him again. Soon they put you on a cart. You are going to the Forbidden City. From far away, it looks like a dream. The walls are so red they seem to glow, like they are on fire inside. They stretch so high they make the sky look small. The roofs are gold, shining so bright you have to look away. It looks like a place where gods live. But as you get closer, you see something else. You see the small doors, the dark corners, the faces of workers who move like shadows. This is not a home for gods. This is a machine, and machines eat people. Inside, everything changes. The air is thick. It smells of incense and power and secrets. It's so quiet you can hear your own heart. Thousands of people live here, but it sounds empty. They give you a number. Not a name, just a number. Numbers are easier to replace. Every day is the same. Wake before the sun. Carry water from the well until your arms shake. Scrub floors until your fingers bleed. Walk miles of hallways that all look the same. The older eunuchs watch you. Some are kind in a tired way. Some are cruel. They remember what it was like to be new. It made some of them soft. It made others hard as stone. Beautiful women float past you in silk robes. They look like flowers. But their eyes are empty. You see one cry behind a pillar one day. You pretend you didn't. She pretends you aren't there. They are trapped too, just in a prettier cage. You learn something important fast. Everyone here is a prisoner. Only the cages are different sizes. Years pass. Your body grows strong, but your voice stays soft, stuck between boy and something else. A reminder of what you lost. Some nights you touch the place where the pain was. It's just smooth skin now, but the ghost of it never leaves. You carry heavy things. You stay invisible. You learn to read faces the way others read books. A small smile can mean death. A quiet word can save your life. You learn which guards can be trusted, none. Which concubines are kind, rare. Which eunuchs will sell you for a better position, most. The palace is not loud, it is quiet. And quiet is more dangerous. Because in the quiet, people plan. In the quiet, enemies watch. In the quiet, you can die before anyone hears you fall. One day, someone sees you can write. An old secretary with tired eyes notices your hand doesn't shake when you hold a brush. He tests you. You pass. They move you from the floors to a small room with a candle. Now you copy orders. You hear secrets. You learn who is rising and who will fall tomorrow. You learn which prince the emperor really loves. You learn which concubine is slowly poisoning another. For the first time, people notice you. Being noticed in the Forbidden City is like standing in a storm holding a metal stick. A man starts watching you. His name is Wen. He smiles, but his eyes stay cold. Like a snake sunning itself, waiting. During a big dinner, something goes wrong. A tray drops, wine spills on a noble's robe. Wen points at you, says you did it on purpose, says you have disrespect in your heart. Guards grab you before you can speak. They throw you in a cell, dark, cold, small, rats in the corners, screams from somewhere far away. 3 days you sit there, waiting. You learn something in that cell. The truth doesn't matter. Only surviving matters. Someone saves you. A kitchen maid you were kind to once. She spoke to a minor official who owed her family a favor. He spoke a word in the right ear. You walk out alive, but you walk back into the palace with only your number. 47. Not a name. Never a name. Wen is still there. He smiles. His eyes are still cold. Now you know. And he knows you know. The game continues. At 20, you have power. You manage schedules. You carry messages no one else can know. You stand in corners and listen. People bow to you now. The same people who once looked through you like you were air. Power feels strange. Not warm. Not good. Just heavy. Like carrying a rock that grows bigger every day. The emperor trusts you. Why wouldn't he? You can never have a family. Never have sons. Never start a dynasty. You belong to the palace now. Forever. Sometimes the emperor looks at you with something like pity. Sometimes he looks through you like a piece of furniture. Both feel the same. Then everything changes. Whispers get louder. Guards walk faster. Doors close that were always open. The purges start. People disappear overnight. Friends look away. When you pass, even laughter sounds fake now. Like everyone is acting in a play where the ending keeps changing. You do what you must to survive. You hear about a conspiracy. Men planning to kill the emperor's favorite son. You make a choice. You tell the right person. Men die. You live. It doesn't feel like victory. It feels like being dirty and not being able to wash clean. The ground shifts anyway. Power moves like sand. You fall again. Not all the way, but enough to feel the wind. At 25, you're tired. The hallways feel longer. Your chest hurts from years of dust and cold. A friend vanishes. Another name scratched out. You pretend you never knew him. The palace doesn't stop. It never stops. At night, alone in your small room, you remember the boy in the field. Running, laughing, chasing a kite made of old paper, believing the future was big and open and full of light. Now the future is these walls. These same walls. Forever. Sometimes you write his name in dust on the floor. Just to see it. Just to remember. Then you wipe it away. Names are dangerous here. At 27, something shifts inside you. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just quiet. Like a candle burning down. You start forgetting things. Where you put messages. The face of your sister. Was her nose small? Did she have a mole near her mouth? You can't see her anymore. One day you pass a new boy. Fresh from the room. He has that look. The one you had. Empty. Scared. Already dead inside, but still walking. You want to tell him something. Something helpful. Something that would make it easier. But there are no words. Nothing makes it easier. You just walk past. At 28, it ends. Not with a bang. Not with a fight. Just quietly. You are in a small storage room no one uses anymore. Dust floating in a single shaft of light. Your legs give up. You slide down the wall. Sit on the cold floor. Your heart feels strange. Slow. then slower. Footsteps pass outside. Voices. Someone laughs. No one stops. No one notices the door. The palace keeps breathing. It doesn't care. It never cared. In your last moment, you think of the field, the kite, the boy who believed. You didn't win. You didn't lose. You survived. And sometimes in a city of ghosts and gold, that's the only story there is. The footsteps fade. The dust settles. Number 47 becomes just another number. Outside, new boys arrive at the gate. New dreams get traded. New numbers get carved.